But the reality of the situation is, if you were not getting women without S&P, you're not just going to magically start getting women with S&P. Yo, what's going on, Big Stepper? So the other day, I made a video titled "I Went Bald Young and It Changed How I See Dating." Basically, explained that I went fully bald at 23, but starting to go bald at like 19, and basically how it changed how I see dating. Being in person is better than online for me at that time, and as I've developed my personality, it's just easier to get somebody in person versus online. For me, that's just who I am as a person. But I'm gonna explain that a little more because I had somebody comment. They said, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much has S&P helped you? I'm considered doing it. So the simple answer for that, as you see, I commented, like, it only helps you as much as you help yourself. But to give it a number, I say 5. So the simple comment is like, yeah, of course, S&P, it enhances your looks, right? That's just the reality of it. And S&P enhances your looks because if you're a bald person, like, your forehead flows into your head. So there's less focus on your like actual eyes and your eyebrows and your beard, like all that kind of space. Um, However, if you get some kind of line right there, just having a hairline, it frames your face. So now people are looking at your actual face a little bit more versus when they see you, they're not just seeing like, just everything all at once. And that's just like the reality of it, bro. I'm not being funny when I say that. I know for some people that might sound funny, you seeing everything all at once, but that's the reality of it. And I know because like I said, I was fully bald at 23. I got the S&P at 24. By the time I turned 22, I should have been bald at 22, but I decided to like stick it out as much as possible. It got to the point where I wasn't even lining up my hairline. Like, I had like one point right there, another point was like back there, bro. My actual hair, when it comes to S&P, it starts right there. Like, as like I'm talking about like presently, not when I first got it. When I first got it, it probably started like right there. But now, like, my hair grows, bro, like right there. So imagine just like rocking a hairline with all of this not even being there. Like, literally, like all of that wouldn't even be there. And I'm still trying to like get haircuts. So that was my situation. By the time I turned 23, I said, forget it. Let's just cut it off. I cut it off. I was fully bald for about 5 to 6 months, right? Now, I want to uncover this just a little bit deeper for you guys because, yeah, I can tell you that, of course, it frames your face and all that. But the reality of the situation is, if you were not getting women without S&P, you're not just going to magically start getting women with S&P. Like, it's not a magic thing that just happens because you're still the same person internally, bro. And that's the thing that I think people don't get. And I know people understand it, especially if they get a cosmetic procedure. I feel like they understand it because it takes a while for it even to process that you look different. Like, for me, it took me about, I say, at least like 3 or 4 months for me to really process that I actually look different. I instantly, as soon as I walked out, I'm not gonna hold you up. Like, I started getting more gazes from women, started just getting more people just looking at me, just like looking at me. And that attention, like, I was like excited about it. I'm like, hey, got more attention. But the confidence internally for me to go up and talk to these women didn't develop. It was already there, but it wasn't there with the same like state of mind frame, right? I was getting different women were looking at me when I had a hairline that started back here. I was still getting gazes, but it's just women that I wasn't like fully attracted in. But like, once I got the S&P, there was more so women that I was attracted in and started being attracted to me. So that was cool, but I had to gain that like another layer of confidence to be able to step to them like, yo, what up? Because the reality of the situation is like, yeah, you guys online, you see me at a perfect angle. Like, I make sure that you guys are seeing me at my best light, meaning like the lighting and also just the angles and everything. But the reality of the situation is, sometimes, like I explain to you all the time, if you're at the gym, when you have S&P and you're at the gym, bro, a lot of the time, people might see you and just think you're bald because that LED light really does something completely different to your actual hair. Also, if you're outside and the sun is at like max UV rays, you're outside like 12 to 2 p.m. I usually just wear a hat because I'm in a space where the sun is just, it burns my head. Like, I don't like it. But so I wear a hat. But then also I wear a hat too sometimes because I know that the sun drowns out the S&P depending on how strong it is. That's the thing, though. Depends on how strong it is, right? Because sometimes the sun makes the S&P look perfect, like, because it's that like yellowish light. So it's not like a LED kind of light. So it's like perfect on your head. Even at 12 to 2 p.m. It started getting a little bit different though if you're in overcast, right? So if you meet somebody in overcast where there's like clouds outside, then they might just think you're bald, right? So if you meet somebody overcast, they think you're bald. If you meet somebody LED light that's overpowering, they're gonna think you bald. If you meet somebody at if you're outside, sunlight, midday, and it's just like super sunny to the point where it drowns out your head and makes it all look into shiny, then it just looks like you're another bald person with a shiny head. So that's the reality of all these things, bro. So it doesn't just happen where it's like, yo, boom, I got S&P, now I'm getting girls. Like on a scale from 1 to 10, like this, brother asked me right here, Mr. Daniel, how much does S&P helps you? Like I said, it's a 5 because yeah, it does enhance your looks, but at the same time, it doesn't make you into a different person, right? Like, yeah, S&P makes you look better. I'm not gonna lie to you because it focuses on this area, especially if you get it done correctly, where it just looks like a low cut and it doesn't look like officially like a tattoo. Then it really just looks like a low cut. So it makes you look a layer better. But when it comes to thinking you're just going to be a different person when you get S&P, that's not the reality of the situation. There's guys out here right now, bro, that have a head full of hair that you as a bald man maybe look at their hair like, damn, bro, got some nice hair. And that guy is still scared to talk to women. So these are two different issues that we're talking about, right? We're talking about being bald and we're talking about talking to women. These are two different things. There's a guy right now, head full of hair, might even be taller than you watching this, might be taller, might be even in more shape. But for whatever reason, he looks at himself in the mirror and he's not as confident as somebody like me. So his confidence doesn't display. He'll have the hair and maybe the height, maybe the build, all of these external features, but internally, he's not a confident man. So he will not be able to be as successful as somebody like me. Now, maybe, just maybe, if that's their type, he may be successful in online dating, right? Because online dating, again, it's the appearance of things. It's not who you actually are. And that's the difference between online versus real life, right? So if you're a guy that's already naturally confident, you already naturally got charisma, you already naturally got all these things, but you're losing your hair, then when you get the S&P, like it's just an enhancer, bro. You already was that person. Now you just got the S&P, so people just seeing you more of who you already saw yourself as. That's the thing that you got to really understand when it comes to this cosmetic procedure stuff. It doesn't change who you are internally. It changes your external appearance, but it doesn't change who you are internally. And who you are internally matters more than external appearance, especially when we're talking about in person. Again, online is just appearances, right? So appearances wise, somebody externally to somebody else might look better than you, but then when you meet that same person in person, that person may not act as confident as you, or he may just not be as confident, and that energy displays itself, right? Because take the person that maybe has the hair and maybe are 6'5" and got the muscles and like all this kind of stuff, right? Now, here's the reality of the situation. If you're like out there like that, looking like Megatron, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get women even in person because once, guys, it's like this. If a girl likes you, you can say anything and it's funny to them, right? Like they just going to be laughing at you. You're like a damn comedian. Like anything you say is going to have them blushing, like anything, right? But if you don't carry yourself with that kind of charisma already, then you got to like maybe try a little bit more, unless they super like you, right? Like I said, the guy that's a Megatron, they already like him. So he doesn't really need to do much. He just got to not talk himself out of action, right? Like he just literally don't need to say too much because he might talk himself out of action. The guy that maybe not check all of her boxes, but you meet in person and she's falling head over heels for you, that's because there's also a layer of internal appearance that's displayed externally, guys. So again, faithfully, this helps, man. Don't think like you guys about to go in there and get S&P. No, I don't care who you go to. You can go to the best S&P artist in the world, bro. It doesn't matter. Whoever you go to, they can't change who you are internally. And I would recommend, especially for the guy, even, I don't know if you're watching this, bro, but hopefully you getting girls right now. Like, make sure you're getting girls right now. Already be out there talking to them before you get the S&P. Be out there talking to them. Like, yo, what up? Be out there mingling and stuff because you won't get the S&P and then you just get the win. Like it doesn't happen like that, my man. It doesn't happen like that. I wish it did, brother, but it doesn't. I had to, like I told you guys, if you watch this video, there was layers of confidence that I discovered throughout my life, just from the standpoint of being online and also in person. But the online confidence, just more so, how I talk and display myself. But then the charisma that I had to develop in person, I've always had that. Remember, I was the guy that had super long curly hair. I always had charisma, bro. But at the same time, I just had to deepen that layer of it when I went bald. I had to be like, yo, all right, I'm still me. I had to embrace that side of myself. Like, I'm still me. Even though when I look in the mirror, it doesn't see exactly what I imagine myself to be, but I'm still me. And I was like that for a good, I would say 20, 21 to about, I say 22 to about 23, 24. I got the S&P at 24. So yeah, so like I would say from like my late 21 range to about the 23, 24 range, good 2.5 years of my life, I had to just live off strictly inner belief. Like strictly what I believed inside was completely true to me. So it didn't phase me from talking to any type of chick, bro. Even some chicks that were really like good looking.
Like YOLO wanted to tell you, accept yourself. You don't have to prove shit to no one, accept yourself. And if you